I know it's early. It is. I forgot my watch today, but yes, it's early. I think it's 8:15 Central Time. So what are we? 9:15 Eastern, and whatever else is going on. Good morning. Hopefully you guys are having a good Thursday. It is Thursday, my dudes. If you've been here for the last couple of days, I have not done live streams in a while because we've been in the new house and I've been recording in there because the Wi-Fi there is absolute trash. But been going through kind of a situation with the apartment complex today. Hopefully that will be remedied. If you guys have not seen the videos that I've put up, if you've only been watching live streams, you may have missed it. The breaking of our lease and the amount of money they are trying to charge me for things that aren't our fault or problems. There's been a whole lot of just whatever with that, and corporate's supposed to be calling me back today in that regard for whatever the crap that is, and I will bring you that video a little bit later. As you can tell, my brain is not fully awake yet. I'm not fully awake yet. I don't know what's going on. Feeling a little tight in the chest right here and throat stuff, so I don't know if this is allergies or if I have a cold that's about to kick in and kick my ass basically, but I can feel something. So I might be taking a little Zyrtec when I get home just to be on the safe side. I do have Pilates this morning and then Sam's Club and all this other stuff. So it's going to be a very long day. I love y'all immensely. Thank you for being here this early. If you're watching this later on, thank you for being here, whatever. Random things to talk about today, right? This is what we're going to do. Random things to talk about today. We should obviously discuss, because we haven't been here together and discussed this in a while, we should discuss the Trump-Zelensky JD Vance thing in the White House. I know it's a couple days old, but that's an interesting situation there. We should discuss I think it's considered the State of the Union address that Donald Trump did, not last night, but the night before. Is that considered State of the Union? I don't even know the name of it. I'm not even going to pretend like I do, because when my brain is on like weird hiatus right now, it's hard for me to remember the names of anything accurately. Just going to put that out there for you. When there's so much going on, I don't even know what to do with myself. But either way, that whole situation with the address and the 13-year-old boy that had brain cancer and how the Democrats refused to stand up for him or cheer for him or anything like that. Just all kinds of just random stuff that's gone on the last couple of days. I would like to mention that I personally think Donald Trump is doing an amazing job. And according to the polls that they took after the whole thing was on, I think it was on CBS. CBS took a poll on how people felt about Trump. And according to the feedback after the what is it called, after the State of the Union or whatever, the feedback after that, he is doing very well. He's got like a 76% approval rating after the address. You had the Democrats now who unfortunately are making dumb ass videos, and they have Jasmine Crockett and all these other women trying to make women look as dumb as humanly possible is what the Democrats are really good at, which is very unfortunate. But you have Jasmine Crockett and these other women making these stupid videos of trying to pretend like they're Tekken. I don't know if you guys have ever seen play the video game Tekken, where they're like dancing around like they're gonna like fight or whatever. They're doing these kind of things. You have Jasmine Crockett making these videos where she's dancing around the halls of Congress like Kendrick Lamar did at the Super Bowl for the halftime show. And I don't understand why anybody listens to anything that's coming out of the left right now. Because, look, I have this on X. I saved a couple things that I wanted to show you guys. This is, to me, one of the most atrocious things. Like I said, Donald Trump brought out this 13-year-old boy, DJ, who had been bullied because he was wearing a police uniform, right? That's pretty much the gist of it. That's not the whole thing, obviously, but that's the gist of it. He brought out this young boy. This is him here, the 13-year-old. They brought him out, and the Democrats refused to cheer for him, refused to do anything for him. But I want you to hear what this woman on MSNBC says. Listen, it's 45 seconds long. But this woman is the epitome of trash, in my personal opinion, in the way that she uses this young boy to basically crap on Donald Trump, but in a sense of, I don't understand people like this. I'm just going to play this and let you guys listen to this real fast.
I think this was a lesson in finding one thing that you let yourself feel. And I let myself feel joy about DJ, and I hope he's alive for another, 95 years,
Listen,
right? And I
listen.
hope he lives and the life he wants to live. He wants to be a cop. He knows what he wants to do. And maybe when you have childhood cancer, that crystallizes for you. And I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump's supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy.
Why is this allowed is my question. Like, I know they want to politicize absolutely everything, and they want to try to drag Trump for absolutely everything, but that to me was absolutely disgusting. I talk shit about Democrats all the time. We know this, but there are even certain lines that I will not cross. And if the Democrats had brought out, if it had been reversed, let's say that when Biden was in office, he had brought that young man out and the exact same thing. I, as a conservative or Republican or whatever else, even if I had been in her position on MSNBC, or I guess at that point it'd be Fox News, there's no way I would have taken it from, I hope this young boy gets better, I hope he lives a long life, to, well, I hope he doesn't become a cop at the Capitol and have to worry about Trump and then commit suicide. Like, who does that? That is just above and beyond disgusting, in my opinion. And you're going to see more and more women losing their jobs on MSNBC. You've already got Joy Reid gone. You have Rachel Maddow, who has lost a chunk of her money. She'll be gone soon, as far as I know. The View is already on the chopping block. I know they're not MSNBC, but it's the same kind of thing. These women are, how to phrase, I think that liberal Democrat women are probably the worst people out there. And we're supposed to be girl power, you know, women rock and, you know, sticking up for the ladies and whatever else. But you have these same women who are screaming from the rafters, the rooftops, the whatever, about how they're all about women's rights and all this other stuff. You have them now sitting in Congress voting no against taking boys out of women's sports. Like, I don't understand that kind of mentality, to use this boy as a way to try to stomp on Trump, to use your platform of having the ability to put laws through, right? And using that instead of actually saving women and girls like you claim you want to be, but making it worse for them by not stopping boys from being in girls' sports. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, what happened to these women to turn them into absolute raging morons is beyond me. It doesn't make sense. Now, this Libs of TikTok posted this, and they said CBS News poll after Trump's speech. They say, hold on for me one second, Mike, the whole screen just went yellow. It says, old squirrel wisdom, get Yucca app and learn what you're eating. You'll feel better. The app tells you what's in the food. Oh no, I have the Yucca or Yucca, I don't know how you're supposed to say it. I definitely have that. Way off topic here, but I have cut out anything with preservatives. I don't, no middle aisles, no canned stuff. It's literally just meat and some vegetables, mostly eggs, butter, chicken, steak, fish, things like that. And I have felt better than I have felt in absolute forever. But I'm now living surrounded by trees, and I think this is allergies that I haven't had before that are trying to kick my butt currently. So that's that. Anyway, so CBS, they said 77% support Donald Trump's plan to cut government waste and spending. 77% of people, not just 77% of Republicans, people in general support it. So even though you have the Democrats screaming, mainly Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and Chuck Schumer and all those effing morons, screaming about how Doge and Elon Musk and all this stuff is against what the people want, it seems that they are incorrect. The only people who are against what Donald Trump is doing are the people who are going to be negatively affected by it, because there goes their cash cow, their money train. The fact that the American people are fed up with the way the government has been run says a lot. You have to realize that over the last 4 years, or even when Donald Trump was in office the first time, he was a businessman in office as a politician, right? He did not know the things he needed to know to be a fully effective president. I'm going to put it out there like that. Like, yes, he did a great job in the 4 years that he was in his first term, but I think that these 4 years he's going to do a much better job, because his first 4 years he saw the issues, he saw the speed bumps, he saw the roadblocks in doing what needed to be done to help this country, and he had the last 4 years to figure out a way around it and to figure out a plan to put into motion what will actually make America great again. And the people that are up in arms over making America great again should not be in America then. Like, if you have such a problem with trying to cut the fat out of government spending, you are an issue. You are somebody who, I would assume, if you have your own business, you're probably running that shit into the ground. You probably can't budget your household money to save your life. You probably are miserable, whatever. Anyway, but the approval rating of Trump after his State of the Union, I still think that's what we're calling it, right? His speech being that high is really good, because we all know, and this is where people sometimes don't agree with me, but we all know that Donald Trump does have an ego. And it is most of the time a warranted one. The things that he has done, I believe the things that he says are warranted. When he says, because of me, blah, 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 or I did this or I did that, that is not being fully egotistical, but it is pointing out that what he is doing works, and here's why it works, because look what he's already done. I know that makes sense for most of y'all who understand how the squirrel brain works, but there are people who are pissy about the fact that they say, of course, this is the left saying, that he was tooting his own horn too much, that he was giving himself too much credit for things. But if you know that what you have done has done a good job, give yourself credit. Don't let anybody, this is going to sound super liberal and it's not meant to, but don't let anybody dim your light. That's one of those little things that they put on, t-shirts and little stickers and on your coffee cup at Starbucks. Don't let anyone dim your light. But that's kind of what it means. Like, Donald Trump knows that what he has done and what he is doing is a positive thing. So why should he step back and pretend like it's not, or downplay what he has done or what he wants to do just to appease the feelings of other people who don't really matter, right? At the end of the day, my opinions and thoughts on Donald Trump don't matter. Your opinions and thoughts on Donald Trump don't matter. Nobody's do. But because he's already the president and he's going to do what he's going to do. Just because we happen to agree with it, I mean, that's a plus, obviously. But either way, listen. I know y'all can tell that there's something going on in here. It says 74% of people say his speech was presidential. Donald Trump, to me, does not talk like a president, but that's only because I'm used to presidents who talk like politicians. You get it in your mind that this is what a president's supposed to sound like. This is what a president's supposed to look like. This is what a president's supposed to do. But that's only because they're all following the same effing script and doing things in a way to appease the people that are really the ones pulling the strings. Whereas Donald Trump, he's like, nobody's pulling my string here. I'm not going to do things the way everybody else has done them, because the way everybody else has done things is why we are where we are. So he is not going to change who he is just to have somebody say, well, you'd sound more presidential if you wouldn't take so much credit for stuff, right? But people agree that his speech sounded presidential, which I think is great. And it says here, 73 support his stance on Russia and Ukraine. I will always support not sending our money to people who don't deserve our money. I don't like the fact that people are dying in other countries, right? I hate it. I don't want any innocent people to die. But guess what? Innocent people die here in this country every single day. And if we could just use our money, your money, my money, to support the people here in our country first, we would have less of our people dying. Then we could help other people. I've said it numerous times. You can't help your neighbor if your own house is falling apart. You have to make sure that your shit is in order before you help anybody else. That's got to be the way that it works. And this president, Donald Trump, is somebody who understands that if this country is flailing and trying to keep its head above water, sending the lifeboats out and the life vests to somebody else is not going to help this country survive. You have got to make sure that you are doing what is best for your own country before you can help anybody else, right? The amount of anger that Donald Trump wants to stop spending billions of dollars on a Ukrainian-Russia war is crazy to me that people are upset about this. But again, the most people who are upset are the one who are benefiting in their pockets from said war, because war is the most profitable thing in the world. And when you're not in war, there's not the same amount of profits for the countries, for the militaries, for the weapon makers, for the doctors, for the medicines, for all these different things, right? So people upset about pulling money back from Ukraine, it's just because they want the money for themselves in that laundered sense. Listen, the whole thing is just absolutely stupid to me. It's never made sense to me how people can't see what has been done the last 4 years. Like, how you don't understand that us sending billions of dollars in money and weapons and everything else to another country who is just using us, it's crazy to me. Now you have, when Zelensky was here, so you had Zelensky here in the White House, in the Oval Office with Trump and JD Vance, and there was, you know, I would say a altercation, obviously not a physical one, but an altercation of sorts, where Donald Trump, I believe, lost his shit the way most of us do, right? Like, you can only go so far before you're like, listen, I have to raise my voice. I have to be an ass about this, because you're not getting it through your head. So Donald Trump had no problem telling Zelensky, there's no point in us paying for a war that you don't want to stop. Like, you have plenty of opportunities to stop this war and you don't want to. You just want us as your cash cow. It's basically the way the whole thing worked. Zelensky, you know, gets all pissy about it, and then he leaves. He goes to Europe. I don't remember exactly who he met with. I forgot. I'm sorry. He went to Europe, met with somebody. Probably should remember this, and I don't. Squirrel brain. Met with somebody, and they're like, "Oh, we'll give you money instead." I think maybe it was the UK. Oh, come on, brain. Either way, at the end of the day, Zelensky comes back and apologizes to Trump, and Starmer, is that how you say it? Thank you, guys. Apologizes to Trump, and is now in the process of trying to figure out how to stop a war, which is what we need, right? We don't need money continuously going out. You have, who's the lady from Italy, the same one who, when Donald Trump left the World Health Organization, she said, I'm on it too, and she left the World Health Organization. And then Donald Trump says, I'm not giving any more money to Ukraine. There's no point in us funding this war. Then the woman in Italy, I cannot remember her name to save my life right now, she was like, I'm not giving shit to Ukraine either. Like, there's no point in any of us paying for any of this stuff. Makes perfect sense to me. I think Donald Trump is doing a great job. That is me personally. I think he is focused on the issues that matter. People are saying, you know, the Democrats are like, well, you said day one the prices are going to go down. Well, day one, he started working on everything that will make the prices go down. It takes time. I said it yesterday in my video, if you guys watched it. It takes time to turn a sinking ship around and, you know, lift it back above water. It's not going to happen overnight. The man has been in office all of, what, 6 weeks, if even that? It's going to take some time, but he is putting everything in motion, or at least he's trying to. But you have Supreme Courts left and right trying to stop him. You have Democrats left and right trying to stop him. You have him being sued, like literally, the breakdown of this, he has been sued 3 times a day since he has been in office. The amount of times he is being sued and all these things are being brought against him, it equates to 3 per day since he has been in office. Y'all, if you would just get the hell out of the man's way and let him do his job, we could make America great again. I don't see how anybody, after Donald Trump is president, I don't see how anybody could vote for a Democrat to be president again after this. It doesn't make sense to me how you can see where we were, where we're trying to go, and then go, no, I want to take it back there. I want to open the borders back up. I want to bring everybody back in. I want to have drugs all over the place. I want to make sure all these men with mental issues and disorders that think they're women can really be in every single female space, because who gives a shit about women feeling safe or having their own spaces for anything? Like, why would you want to go back to that? Either way, President Donald Trump posted this on the President of the United States, the POTUS account on X. And to me, this is one of those things where it doesn't sound presidential but it is definitely something that needed to be said, and this is going to ruffle a lot of feathers in numerous countries, in numerous political powers, both sides. I still love the fact that he uses his mugshot as his presidential photo. But listen to this. This is what he wrote. Shalom Hamas means hello and goodbye. You can choose. Release all of the hostages now, not later, and immediately return all of the dead bodies of the people you murdered, or it is over for you. Only sick and twisted people keep bodies, and you are sick and twisted. I'm sending Israel everything it needs to finish the job. Not a single Hamas member will be safe if you don't do as I say. I have just met with your former hostages whose lives you have destroyed. This is your last warning. For the leadership, now is the time to leave Gaza while you still have a chance. Also to the people of Gaza, a beautiful future awaits, but not if you hold hostages. If you do, you are dead. Make a smart decision. Release the hostages now, or there will be hell to pay later. Hello, listen. Think about when you were a child, all right? Think about when you were a child, and whatever parent or caregiver that you were with that could give you that one look that would put the fear of God into you. This is what Donald Trump is doing. He says, listen, staring you down is not really going to do anything, and asking nicely obviously isn't doing shit, and doing whatever else isn't doing anything. So I'm just going to put it out there the way it needs to be said, like a pissed off father reprimanding his child, right? For him to say, this is your last warning. A beautiful future awaits but not if you hold hostages. If you do, you are dead. Okay, now, to me, that could be, that's considered a threat, right? So let's think about this. Did the United States just threaten Hamas, right? Because if that's the case, could that not escalate this into a war that's brought onto our soil? Although the war is already on our soil. Let's be 100% clear about that. The war is already on our soil because of all of the protesters and the people that have been allowed into this country, whether legally or illegally, who are not America first, who are here to cause dissent, I think is the right word, and to basically Trojan horse this place. That's how I feel about the people when I see the protesters that are graffitiing things in DC, that are tearing down the American flag and setting it on fire, that are raising the Palestinian flag or the Hamas flag or the whatever. I see that as the Trojan horse. I see that as people who were either brought into the U.S., who came into the U.S., who have been radicalized in the U.S. to start the tear down from within. And now you have a president finally who has a sack and who is willing to stand up and man up and do what is necessary to call out the people who are trying to start wars or conflict on our own surfaces. This could go one of two ways, obviously. This could go in a very positive way where they realize that they have got to not give in. Maybe give in is the right word on the Hamas side or whatever. They've got to pull back, or it could go on a completely different way and they look at this as a go big or go home, and then we are in literal World War IV. I feel like World War III is what's been going on for the last couple of years, just not in a firing of bombs, but more in a breaking down of society and morals and ethics and compassion and things like that. Like, that's the war I think we've been in. It's been more of a person against person war versus a country against country war over the last couple of years. But with this being put out the way it was by the president of the United States 16 hours ago, yesterday, then we're going to hear a lot of issues with this from other world leaders who are either too afraid to do anything, or who are so bought by the other powers that be. I mean, the World Health Organization, World Economic Forum, all of those, NATO, all of these big worldwide organizations, they are trying to turn everybody into their own puppets. And Donald Trump is not willing to be anybody's puppet. And that's where the issues are going to come in. So I think 2025 is going to be a great year. I think that the way he is doing things, because it's not the way other people have done things, is going to yield results that other people could not get, right? I know there are plenty of people out there who are going to have differing opinions on everything. My opinion is going to differ from y'all's. It is what it is. My opinion today may be different than my opinion tomorrow if new information comes out, because that's the whole thing. When presented with new facts or new situations, your opinion should either stay the same or change based off of new facts. There's no what is the word? There's nothing wrong with changing your mind on things. Y'all know that hey, my husband's in here. Everyone has opinions. Everyone also has assholes, right, babe? What is it? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. Is that how it goes? I'm pretty sure that's, see, Sarah got it. I'm pretty sure that's how the phrase goes. But everybody has the right to their own opinion, right? The problem is when people are presented with facts and they refuse to acknowledge those facts and therefore their opinions don't change. That's how you end up as a Democrat. And I realized that during the end of Donald Trump's term and the beginning of Joe Biden's term, that I was not letting facts make their way into my brain, and I was just not changing my opinion. And then I realized that facts matter, right? And I left the libtard train, and I've been Trump trained since, like MAGA all the way, because you have to acknowledge when you're wrong. You have to acknowledge when the people around you are wrong. You have to acknowledge when the things that you believed are the things that are really destroying the country that you're supposed to love. So I went from libtard to whatever the hell I am now. I honestly don't know. I'm conservative in some things, Republican in some things, independent in some things. I might still have a liberal thought every now and then, but I am majority not. With what Donald Trump is doing for this country, bringing Doge in, bringing Elon Musk in, bringing in people who literally think of America first, that's what we've needed for the longest. It's weird to me, the older you get, the more you realize that certain people in power are not America first. They are themselves first. They are profit first. They are corporations first. Donald Trump is legitimately America first. He is about this country before anybody else is. And somehow over the course of years and years and years, people have been programmed to think that if you put yourself first, you're selfish. If you put yourself first, you are a horrible person. But even on an airplane, if the face masks fall down, you're supposed to put yours on first, because you can't help anybody else if you're unconscious. You have got to help your country before you can help anybody else. Because if your country is falling apart, how can you possibly help anybody else? Because then once you've fallen apart, your help to them stops too. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Y'all, now my ears are feeling stuffed up. Oh, I don't want to be sick. I don't like it. I need some Zyrtec or something. And I'm about to go into Pilates. Hopefully I can breathe through this crap. But either way, y'all, I know this is kind of the most random thing ever, and I had all these things on X that I was going to show you, but I really just felt like running my mouth, so thank you for letting me do that. It is time for me to go now. I love y'all immensely. I will be back later for, whether Bob likes it or not, a lot of personal info with what's going on with the apartment complex. So hopefully it'll be a live, but if not, it will be a recorded one, so just make sure you guys are checking both tabs on the YouTube page. But I will give you an update. I promised you I would, and I'm going to. And hopefully when the lady Kim from corporate calls me after she's spoken with the manager at the apartment complex, hopefully Kim is not a dumbass and works things out the way it needs to be worked out, or else we will go farther than just corporate. So Small claims court, you know. Anyway, I love y'all immensely. Thank you for being here. I hope y'all have a fabulous day until we see each other again. I will let you know how the Zyrtec works out, and hopefully Pilates will help as well. Maybe I just need like some movement or something, but either way, I love you guys. Bye. Adios. If I can hit the button. There we go.